What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time. A little different time today, thanks to the slates not giving us the 1 o'clock. We're here for the 4 o'clock games today, or as Keith is, the 1 o'clock games. I'm Britt Devine, here with my man Keith Eister and TJ. TJ, I'll start with you, man. What's going on, dude?
Doing well. One of my best friends got married last night, so waking up this morning was a little tough. So I
should have just sent the email in. What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here the day after a wedding, man.
Hey, I was very happy to see that the main slate was starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then my time was and so expert survey didn't have to get into a little later, and then the crunch time got bumped back a couple hours too, so it ended up working out in my favor.
Yeah, and I know, Keith, this works a lot better for you as well out there on the Western time zone.
Yeah, definitely. The last couple of weekends have been rough. I've been doing the playoff article for basketball too, so I've been getting up at like 5 a.m. on Saturday mornings, and that's not fun. So it was nice to get a few extra hours of sleep this morning for sure.
Yeah, we got
I feel you there. I'm West Coast time too, so I feel you on that one.
I'm East Coast. East Coast is great, in my opinion. I don't know the West Coast. I don't know. If I was ever out there, I don't think I could handle the early morning stuff. That would just be a no-go. Anyway, we're brought to you by Fanduel. Check out the Fanduel Sportsbook if you live in a state where you can get access to it. You can find you get up to a $1,000 free bet. They're giving away too. If you have $1,000, you can jam that in there on anything. If you happen to lose, they will give you a risk-free bet on that as well. And also scores and odds. Keith, real quick, let's talk. I opened up scores and odds for baseball. I was just seeing when everyone else. You went bananas on Eric Lauer, man. The people who are watching on YouTube or whatever, they don't have access to that, but it's premium. But let's give away the goods today. Eric Lauer is going bananas, according to you today.
Yeah. I woke up this morning. I saw FanDuel was the only book that had a line posted, and Lauer is at 5.5. He has had double-digit strikeouts twice this year. He had 8 in his last outing. And I dug into the numbers in his last start, and they all looked really good to me. Velocity is up on him. His swinging strike rate is up about 4%. He's throwing his slider twice as much as he was last year. So this is a different pitcher. And the books just got this wrong when it opened up this morning. So I hammered it. I took him over 5.5 at -146. And then I laddered his alternate strikeout props as well, all the way up to 10 strikeouts for plus 1,000.
Yeah, I did the same thing as you without even reading scores and odds because I thought that was absolutely bananas as well. He's the opposite of Charlie Morton, who we'll talk about on this slate, who is
Correct.
Just a horrible pitcher. He's still getting a couple of strikeouts, but we'll have a little debate on that in a little bit. If you want access to that, go download scores and odds. You can subscribe to it. Sometimes there are free bets if you just want to sweat stats or get the best lines but all time across all the sites. Scores and odds does provide that for you. I'm on it 24/7. I know Keith rates for it. It's a great little app to have, especially if you're in the sports betting world. All right, let's jump into actually real quick. TJ, you got like a Spidey play for us to get a couple of likes here? You got something cooking?
Yes. So I definitely always have something cooking. There's not many people watching today, only 32. We're at a weird time, so it's understandable. If we just get over 10 likes, we'll get a nice.
Oh, that's easy. Here, I'll smash it up to 5. That should be pretty easy, guys. So click the like. We'll get TJ's play, and we'll interrupt
15 for 2. 15 for 2.
15. TJ's giving deals of the week here. This is better deals than Dan's garage sale he has going on Twitter today. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. That's a hilarious little thread Dan had about his garage sale. So the likes will come in on YouTube. We would appreciate that for a couple of nice spicy plays from TJ. All right, let's talk the sites are a little, I wish the sites would be like, hey, FanDuel, DraftKings, what are we doing? Let's run the 5. FanDuel got it right today, Keith, in my opinion. They ran the 5-game slate and DraftKings got it wrong. So it's an interesting slate on both sites because on DraftKings, I don't know if I really want to use any of the pitchers, and on FanDuel, I want to use a bunch of the pitchers. So what are we going to do over there for cash? You get one. You can spend up on Lauer, right? We like him. We both hammer the prop. I get it. The bat does not like him. I've got the bat projections pulled up today. I'm overriding that in the sports book, but because FanDuel has priced Luis Castillo so low and he looked reasonably good in his first start, we know he can strike out everybody. He's facing Pittsburgh today, a watered down Pittsburgh lineup at that. And the price difference is so extreme, it's pretty difficult between those two today. So who are you looking at?
Yeah, I definitely like the upside for Lauer, but I certainly understand, and I wouldn't hold it against you if you wanted to go down for Castillo. He is underpriced for this matchup against Pittsburgh. Great ballpark to pitch in, huge upgrade. Castillo pitches in the Great American Small Park for half of his games, so this is a huge park upgrade for him. Weak Pittsburgh offense, and he's just too cheap for this matchup. I was originally leaning that way. Now that we've got a couple of lineups that are missing some key bats, I'm kind of back on paying up for Lauer. Like there's no Trout in the Angels lineup. There's no Springer in the Blue Jays lineup. So those were two pieces I definitely wanted. And that's why I was spending down to Castillo. But I think I'm back on the spend up for Lauer just because I think there's more upside here. I feel better about his leash. And the projection on him, like projections used a larger data set. But when we can see a drastic change in the way he's using his pitches and his velocity, like I have no reason not to believe what Lauer has done so far this year. This is the best matchup you can ask for against a left-handed or with a left-handed pitcher on the mound. Miami has the highest strikeout rate in baseball against lefties this year. So I think Lauer's upside is just huge in this spot. I'm trying to get him if I can.
I can't believe it was 5.5 strikeouts this one. I don't know what it's at now. Someone was asleep at the wheel on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Hey, I'm gracious for them giving us the opportunity to get that line at 5.5. Real quick, TJ, if you're on FanDuel, because you've got the 2 extra games going on over here, does anything stand out with you? You've got Minaya, who, there's no Acuna, and this Atlanta lineup's pretty horrible as well right now. They strike out a ton against lefties. Is he like the tournament swerve? Because I actually like him on DraftKings as my lead pitcher. He's a little more down for me on FanDuel because we get Lauer. What's your take on him today?
Yeah, so he's actually not my guy that I'm particularly interested in from it. And like in terms of a tournament pivot, he's still picking up some ownership. And so that's not the person I really want to go to. Mm-hmm. And even though he's going to be chalky, personally, I just love Eric Lauer. That's where I find myself going to the most tournaments, cash games, anywhere. And I actually find myself landing on this watered down Atlanta lineup a little bit because it allows me to get some bats that I like with Eric Lauer because we got some cheap plays in there. So I find myself landing on the Atlanta side of this game a little bit more than I do the Sean Manaea side. If I'm looking to get different off of Lauer and Castillo in tournaments, it's not nice to look at and I don't love it. But if I'm playing a ton of lineups, I'd probably rather look at Michael Pineda or Bruce Zimmerman just because I view them as having similar chances of being optimal as guys like Minaya, Morton, and Rogers, who are going to pick up quite a bit more ownership than those guys are.
Yeah, Zimmerman on FanDuel is going to have like no ownership at all because he's pretty priced up there. But against Detroit, I like him. He's shown he looks like a reasonable strikeout pitcher this year. I don't hate that call if you're trying to get completely different today.
And so like he's still like from a strikeout standpoint, he strikes out lefties way better than righties, and he's not. I don't think he's facing a single lefty in this offense right now. And so I wouldn't expect a big strikeout game from him, but it's more of just if you really don't like Lauer for some reason and you're playing a lot of lineups, you want to get off the chalk, then I don't think he's going to rack up a ton of strikeouts, but he might go 6-7 innings.
All right, let's go to DraftKings, Keith, and talk some cash over there because it's, we don't have Lauer or Castillo, the two guys we want to use. Blackburn just sort of goes out there and does what he does. There's no Trout in the lineup, which really upped his projections quite a bit. And he's been pretty steady if you're looking for a guy who I think isn't going to get destroyed today as someone you might want to anchor your team. Other than that, right, it's like Morton's just been pretty horrible all season long, just getting hit left and right. The strikeouts aren't there. His whiff rate is basically down across the board by a wide margin on just about all of his pitches, if not all of them, actually. It leads me to Manaea and a Blackburn combo. You could get a little frisky with like a Zimmerman or a Pineda on cheap and pairing them with Blackburn if you don't want to use either of the top guys. Do you think Manaea is worth that 9,900 today? What do you think of Morton? And then just sort of your overall thoughts there.
Yeah, I think that Manaea for cash games makes sense, just because he's got a really nice leash. Not a huge strikeout pitcher, but I mean, there aren't any huge strikeout pitchers on this DraftKings slate. So I'm gonna pay up for the safety of Manaea. Not the best matchup against Atlanta, but they do strike out a fair amount against lefties. So I'm not terribly afraid of that. And he's far better than the other options, in my opinion. Morton, like you mentioned, his strikeout rate has been way down this year. It's down around 17%. He's just not striking anybody out. His control has been all over the place. So I don't trust Morton. He's facing a low strikeout San Diego offense as well. I'm skipping over Morton. I would go down to Blackburn. He's another guy who's seen his velocity tick up just a little bit. And then no Trout in that Angels lineup is what really sold it for me. His strikeout rate is up this year. He's been under 20% for his career up until this point, but he's up around 25% this year. And with that watered down Angels lineup, Blackburn is the guy I would go to. If you needed to save a little extra, I don't mind a Zimmerman or a Pineda because they both have great matchups as well, but I just feel a little bit better about Blackburn.
Yeah, and Morton's another guy. He can go hit his under, I think, at 5, and he hasn't hit 5.5 all season long. And I don't know, maybe he's hit 5 a couple of times, but he's been under 5 3 other times. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I don't know, probably minus 125, 135, something like that, depending on your sports book. Go check them out over on Fanduel if you're looking for another bet on strikeouts. All right, DK, what's the lay of the land for you, TJ, over here? If the ownership's all going to go to, now this ownership for this slate probably isn't correct. I'd have to go, maybe I could try this here. But I think it's going to be, if Morton's going to be the highest owned pitcher today, what's your take on him so far this season?
Yeah, that's not somebody I'm looking to go to, and I do really like the Padres on the other side. For Detroit, or sorry, for DraftKings as a whole, the four favorite guys to go to actually are Blackburn, Diaz, Zimmerman, and Pineda. Like that's the tier I'm wanting to stick in. I want to pay up for the bats. I want to get Manny Machado. I want to get Shohei Ohtani. I want to get Cedric Mullins. I want to pay up for Travis d'Arnaud at catcher. So I think that's the way. Not only am I going to get different, I'd play a lot more Bruce Zimmerman over there on DK, 6,800, not picking up any rostership. I'm a big Paul Blackburn guy now that he's increased his velocity, and no Trout in the lineup, obviously. And I think with a 3-game slate on DK, the way things are stacked up, no pitcher is going to put up a very big score. I don't think it's crazy to play 2 or 3 Angels against Blackburn, even if you're rostering Blackburn. Like I'm looking at my favorite lineup I've made so far, and I haven't adjusted it a ton because I'm not playing on DK today. But just looking at DraftKings on lineup HQ, I have Blackburn in there, and I have Rengifo because he's almost minimum price, Shohei Ohtani, and Brandon Marsh. And I just absolutely love the rest of the team. It's my favorite plays at all the rest of the positions. So I definitely think there are ways you can get different today while still playing Blackburn. And I actually would rather get off of Manaea and go to these cheap guys.
All right. Real quick, they smashed the like button, TJ. Quick, give me the 2 plays you were looking at for the Spidey play of the day.
Yeah, so the 2 that we're looking at, one is going to be a bit higher owned, one is going to be not so much. We are looking at where is he? Sorry, Teoscar Hernandez. He absolutely smashes lefties, and he's still a very competent hitter against righties. He's been doing a little bit. It took him a little while to get ramped back up after injury, but he's going to hit a bomb today. Spidey told me so. And the other one up top, I mentioned somebody I really like paying up for as a bit of a contrarian option is Manny Machado today. Spidey whispered in my ear, and Manny Machado is also going to be hitting a dinger today.
All right, let's get to some position by position. Quickly, catcher, probably not on FanDuel on this slate, but I don't know, Keith and Cash, it's just like I don't know. They all stink if you ask me. I'm not really paying up for one today.
Yeah, I mean, I think Darnold with the platoon advantage is fine, but I find myself landing on Eric Haas. I think he's got a nice price. He's got the platoon advantage there against Zimmerman. Zimmerman's been better, and Haas has not been as good against lefties this year as he was last year. But 3,200, I'm fine with that. If you want to go all the way down and punt it, I think you can do that as well with somebody like Anthony Benboom.
Yeah, I think Bethencourt's a little interesting too. I think Haas will be the popular one. So if you were maybe looking to switch a little bit, I think Bethencourt's reasonably a good switch for that one, maybe even for tournaments. TJ, do you have any catcher takes?
I agree with everything both of you just said. And the other one I'd want to add in for tournaments would be Sean Murphy, only 4,200 on DK with the platoon advantage.
All right, let's go to first base. Lots of different ways you could do this today. You've got Ohtani. He's reachable on both sites if you want, or actually, no, he's reachable on DraftKings. He's not on the FanDuel slate, right? Yeah, there's no Angels game on the FanDuel slate. So if you want to get to him on DraftKings, you can. You could go cheap to the mid, you can go lefty with Olsen. You've got Walsh against Blackburn, but we sort of like Blackburn. You've got Mancini, who's probably a little bit cheap. Just a lot of different ways you can go on DK today, Keith.
Yeah, there's two in that 3K price range that I really like. Mancini against Pineda. He doesn't strike anybody out, so I like him a good amount. And Walsh is just underpriced. We do like Blackburn, but Walsh has been pretty good this year. 3,800 is too cheap for him.
Yeah, that's probably where I was going to. Of course, if you have the money, you can definitely get Ohtani in there or jam him into the outfield on DraftKings as well. TJ, first base tournament takes.
Yeah, so one I want to touch on quick is this is actually a catcher, but he's only available on FanDuel. And so I want to just touch on stacks as a whole quick before I hit that. The Reds are a stack on FanDuel. I don't think are going to be rostered very much, and I like them quite a bit as a contrarian stack today. And so Tyler Stevens, an option at this position. He's priced up. No one's going to want to play him there, but he's just been absolutely crushing the ball lately. But having said that, I think your top option at this position, bar none, is Vladimir Guerrero. 3,700 is just way, way too cheap for him. Without a doubt, that's your top play at the position. If you need to save salary, my favorite on FanDuel is at 2,800, Daniel Vogelbach. But Luke Voigt, Eric Hosmer, Colin Moran, Matt Olson, Tyler Stevenson, these are all guys I'd want to mix in tournaments as well.
All right, second base, Keith and Cash. Give me the layout of what's happening there.
Yeah, I just want to touch that Vladimir Guerrero. I thought we were just doing DK. He would be a priority for me in FanDuel Cash as well.
I mean, he's definitely on the FanDuel too, no question.
Yeah,
one of the few guys you can actually spend on today.
Yes. All right. So second base, Javier Baez, you can play him over here. He is way too cheap on FanDuel. You can also play him at shortstop, which I will probably end up doing. I like Cronenworth against Morton for just 2,900 here at second. He has multi-positional eligibility as well. And Rougned Odor is near minimum price if you need to go down that far.
Derek Hardy, is that you?
Well, I'm looking at his projections, so that's probably why.
Cardi, no, Matt always loves Odor. I like Albies is my guy, I think, on both sides. Absolutely love him. I like Manaea, but if I was going to take somebody from the Atlanta side, I know TJ liked the Braves against Manaea. Albies is looking pretty good to me, TJ.
Yeah, I like Albies as well. I'm currently only playing one lineup just overall today for this early slate because we're on crunch time right now and Albies is in it. Second base is one of my favorite positions today for tournaments, especially on FanDuel, because Javi Baez is the cash game play, but he is going to be probably looking at almost 50% rostership today. So you play anyone else and you're getting different. And this is a weirdly strong position today. You have Travis Dimitrite. Did I say that right? Dimitrite. He's leading off today for Atlanta, and I like that stack. And he's the same price as Baez. Cronenworth's 200 more. Moustakas is 200 more. Profar is 200 more. Arias is leading off 300 more. You can punt all the way down to Josh Van Meter at 2,100, and I think that's a decent play too against Castillo, who's going to be very highly played today. So that's definitely where I like going there on FanDuel. And on DK, I like Albies as well, but I definitely also am interested in the 2,100 batting second punt with Luis Rengifo.
Was it the Atlanta guy leading off Demerit?
Yeah, Demerit. There it is.
Yeah, I think it's Demerit is that one. I screw up the pronunciation.
Demerit.
Yeah, I screw up pronunciation all the time.
I thought there was a T prior to the R.
Yes, so that'd be Demerit. I like Demerit on DraftKings. We'll talk about him, but he's 2,200. And like I think I'm playing Mania on my DK cash team, and I've got Albies and Demerit up against them because I think they're both way underpriced for their particular spot today, and it's a small slate. All right, let's go to third base, Keith and cash. You've got Manny Machado if you're looking for somebody to spend up on today. Probably one of the best hitters in baseball so far this season. You got to spend your money somewhere. He looks like a good spot.
Yeah, I agree. Machado is a priority spend for me today. With Morton's strikeouts down, he's a little bit reverse splitsy anyway. So Machado has just been awesome this year. He's the guy I want here at third.
TJ, wait, I'm reading TJ's mind for tournaments. Toronto has a new leadoff hitter today. It's Matt Chapman. TJ, am I getting this right?
Matt Chapman and Manny Machado are the only two third basemen I would be playing today. I like Moustakas better at second, Arias better at second or short, Moran if it's in a stack, but Matt Chapman and Manny Machado are just far and away the top options for me today.
The Moran 2 home run game happened, right? So we've got to wait a little while to capture that upside on Colin Moran. There's always those who was it? The one, Keith, was it last year? The guy hit like 3 or 4 home runs in one game. It was like 0.2% owned or something.
I had him. I remember that. I won a bunch of money that
was Winker, was it? Was that Winker?
I thought you were talking about Moran. I had a 2 home run day for Moran last year when nobody else played him as like a minimum price one-off.
Yeah, that was a couple days ago too.
But that was last year, and that was like I feel like one of my biggest wins of the MLB season last year.
Yeah, those are always great when you get the lone guy who hits multiple home runs in a game in DFS. There is no better feeling probably in DFS than the low-owned multi-home run like player in like a tournament lineup that's doing well for sure. All right, let's go to shortstop. We've got Javi Baez. Looks to be the guy. He's got the splits advantage going today. Is very hit or miss. We're all going to be using him today. That's still the cash game play for you though, right, Keith?
Yeah, just a guy with this much power with the platoon advantage has hit lefties pretty well throughout his career. He's just underpriced for this matchup.
Yeah, no one else really entered my conversation. It's just he's the only guy I think people are going to gravitate to, TJ. You look at the shortstop position on DraftKings, TJ, it is horrific. FanDuel, you can make a case for a couple other guys. You've got Franco and Chisholm. Probably don't want to take him against Lauer as the highest price shortstop. It's just a very strange position outside of Baez. So what's your overall take there today?
Yeah, on DraftKings, I think it's Baez or all the way down to Rengifo. And then on FanDuel, it's just anybody above Baez in tournaments. So Cronenworth, Arias, Willie Adames, Wander Franco. I'm landing on Bo Bichette personally. I think that's probably my favorite at the position. But any of those other guys above Baez, I like as well.
All right. If you guys want to start getting in questions, where lock is at 4:05, you can put them in the YouTube chat. Or if you're a subscriber to RotoGrinders, I will check the MLB Crunch Time channel first before we get to YouTube. So make sure to post your questions and we will try to get to them as soon as possible after the outfield. Keith, like the guys out, Ronald Acuna, no. George Springer, no. We're just left with a hodgepodge of guys. You've got Ohtani on DraftKings at least. You've got Cedric Mullins, who looks to be in a reasonable spot. He's ultra expensive on DraftKings, but he can produce pretty well against Pineda here. I'm gonna ask you. This is pretty strange. Mullins or Ohtani if you're taking one straight up today?
It's weird to say, but I really like this matchup for Mullins. I think I would lean slightly to Mullins there. He's just a better hitter than he gets credit for. He's kind of lost out in Baltimore, but he had an outstanding season last year, and he's been pretty good this year as well. I'm not afraid of Pineda. I don't think he's very good at all. He definitely doesn't have strikeout stuff. So Mullins is going to put the ball in play. He can steal a base for you too. I love him leading off there for Baltimore.
Yeah, I like Mullins. I don't know if I would take him over Ohtani. It's really close, and it's usually not. I want to know too. Ruff just posted some updates on some weather. He has the Baltimore-Detroit game at yellow. I'm going to bring it onto the screen here, and just so everyone can see it, if I can. Oh, let's see here. That's not working. I guess I'll just update my starting lineups page and go to the weather and just sort of go over a couple of his thoughts that may have changed from earlier. So he's got the Baltimore Detroit game. He's got it as yellow. Their storms quite near to Detroit, moving from the west. They're crawling some quality innings before they arrive. Maybe a delay. To me, that doesn't really change too much, but it is look like it's a little bit of an upgrade or a downgrade in terms of the weather from what he had earlier today. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh stays the same. So I just want to know if there is maybe a little bit of risk in the Detroit game in the late innings, but it would just be a delay. And if you're using the starting pitchers there, it probably looks fine. But I saw Roth updated that, so I just wanted to bring that in for everybody. All right, Keith, real quick, outfielders not named Mullins or Ohtani. I don't know if you know this. Manny Margot is like the hottest hitter in baseball over the past like 2 weeks. He's going bananas. He's expensive on FanDuel, but I don't know. I think like him or Tommy Pham, and I know the bat completely disagrees with this, but I'm playing Margot 10 out of 10 times over Tommy Pham.
Yeah, I would play Margot over Tommy Pham as well. Another guy I really like is Anthony Santander. I mentioned that matchup against Pineda. I think he's underpriced on both sides. I really like him. Yeah, but it would be Margot over Pham. I agree with you on that one.
If you're over on DK for cash, a couple of the savers, Santander, you mentioned him, he's 2,900. Demerit is 2,200, leading off against Manaya. I think those are a couple of your salary savers over on DK as well. Maybe you can throw on if you're in the mid-tier Roman Laureano. He's 3,300. He was like a $45 to $5,000 player last year. So he's a little bit of a discount currently. All right, tournaments. I'm going to pose the same question to you as I posed to Keith. Ohtani or Cedric Mullins in a tournament today, TJ?
For me, it's both Ohtani in tournaments and cash. However, for cash games over on DK, the answer is both. You simply play both. If you can't do it with Manaya, bump down. You got to play both Mullins and Shohei Ohtani. And then I agree with them. You really and I think in tournaments, that's really the play too. Those two are just far and away the best hitters on the slate, especially at outfield. The only one close to me is Manny Machado on the entire DraftKings slate. So I think you're for sure playing those two. And then you're going down to one of those people we talked about, Demerit, Chad Pinder, Santander, maybe Laureano. Brandon Marsh is somebody I don't mind as well when he's leading off. So that's something I don't mind. And then other than that, I'm just rounding out my stacks on both FanDuel and DraftKings. It's the Marcelo Zunas, it's the Jerkson Profars. I'm really just trying to fill up my stacks, and I agree. Manny Margot, might as well just keep playing him until he stops hitting the ball like that anymore. And on FanDuel, where the pricing is a little bit different, and you obviously don't have Shohei Ohtani, I think the top options by far in the outfield on FanDuel are Cedric Mullins and Teoscar Hernandez.
All right. I see a couple of people in the YouTube chat. They want to know, is this the early slate? Yes, but we will be back. I'll be back for the late slate with Cards and Will. So, if you know me and Will, you better have all of your ancillary DFS sites ready, because we will be running a bajillion different props probably that we talk about during the show, as well as sportsbook items whenever me and Will get together. So there will be that. That'll be at 6:30 tonight. So if you're looking for that, just check back a little bit later, but you might as well join the early slate because there's a couple big contests out there today. All right. I see real quick, TJ, we got to the likes. We do have quite a few more people watching right now. Let's run back your couple of plays and then we'll start taking some questions to round out the show.
Yeah, so top stacks of the day. We got 80 people watching right now. So if we can get some more likes, we got half is always a great number. So get us to 40. That would be lovely. It helps us in the YouTube algorithm, and it's free content thanks to our sponsor FanDuel. So top stacks for me today, over on FanDuel, where I'm playing the most. I like Atlanta. I like Cincinnati. These are two teams that I don't think are going to be getting enough rostership. And the other one I like as well is San Diego. Those are the three teams that I'm pairing with the more chalky Toronto. Toronto, I can't get myself off of because I love them and they're just in a phenomenal spot. Even though the lineup's a little watered down without Springer, it just put Chapman in a phenomenal position leading off. And you still have Bichette, Vlad, and Teoscar who hit lefties and righties all very well. So I like Toronto as my chalky stack, and then I'm mixing in Atlanta, Cincinnati, and San Diego with them. And then for home run plays of the day, the two that we're looking at are Manny Machado as well as Teoscar Hernandez. On DraftKings, I think I'm trying to fit in Machado, Mullins, and Otani. Then I'm figuring the rest out. And on Fanduel, same thing. I love Machado and Teoscar Hernandez are the two, and as well as Vlad Guerrero are the first three I'm putting in lineups.
All right. On YouTube, Richie Smalls, he had a question. He wanted to know how contrarian we think a 5-3 Angels Padres stack will be today. So if I'm pulling up over on DraftKings here, let's pull up the Angels and the Padres. Let's go to hitters. None of these guys, Otani and Marsh are really the only ones drawing ownership. Machado's definitely going to be more than 14% owned on the early slate. You can double or triple that. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at the projections, in my opinion. Do you think that's going to be a popular combo today, TJ, or is someone else going to draw most of the ownership?
I like that because the thing with playing Machado and Otani is that means you are not playing Sean Manaea most likely, and he's going to be 30% owned. So just don't play Manaea or Morton, and you are going to be different with that lineup. And that's a combo that I really like as well.
Let's see here. I don't see any extra questions on YouTube. Let me go to our Crunch Time channel. Sit Down Son wanted to know any interest in an A's stack today. Is there anything we can do with that, TJ?
I like them as a mini stack more than a full on stack, or even just as some one-offs. Like I like Sean Murphy as the catcher position. I like Chad Pinder as a punt all the way down to min price. And I think Laureano's okay too. They're not my favorite full stack, but I do like them as one-offs and as a mini stack.
Yeah, Diaz, Sit Down Son made a good point. Diaz all over with his control in his first game, 5 innings, 4 walks, 3 hits, 4 Ks. It's anything can happen in baseball, right? Like, I don't think it's if you walk a couple of guys, your boy Murphy hits the home run. Laureano's back. I could see ways that could happen.
Yeah, it's not my top option, but there's nothing wrong with it. I would rather stick to the 1 to 6 in that order. I'd want to probably avoid the Elvis Andruses and such, but yeah, I don't mind the top of that lineup in the middle of it one bit. It's not my favorite stack, but I don't hate it by any means.
Yeah, if there's any other questions, please get them in either in YouTube or in the Crunch Time channel. Keith,
having said that, sorry, it's my 4th favorite stack. I like it better than both Baltimore and Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Keith, I don't know. We've pretty much talked about. Oh, swipe right. Pinder home run is Gary. Yeah, Pinder's interesting. He's super cheap on DK. I can see that happen and Sit Down Son. Keith, I always like to talk like UFC. You always have the bets for us if anyone's interested. What do we got going on in the UFC streets tonight?
Interesting card. Blachowicz was a champion just a fight ago, but he just got beat by the ancient Glover Teixeira. And I think
Teixeira's still fighting?
Yeah. So Rakic is the favorite in the main event, and I agree with it, even though Blachowicz was just the champion not too long ago. Let's see if I can pulling up my sheet here. What props? I think Chukagian by decision is my favorite prop bet on the entire card.
Spell that out for me. I gotta find it.
It's CH.
I'm kidding. All right. Let's see here. All right. I'm gonna go find on FanDuel and make a couple of these bets while you're rattling them off.
All right. Yeah, I mean, just a very active fighter. As long as she can avoid the takedown, she almost always wins by decision. So you can juice up her money line a little bit by taking the prop by decision. Let's see what else I got here. There's not a ton that I really loved.
We lay in minus 200 on Rakic.
I would rather parlay him. So I like Kudalaba as a parlay piece and Chukagian as a parlay piece as well. So if you parlay those 3 together, that should get you some nice plus money.
All right, that sounds better to me. I don't know much about UFC. I like watching people beat each other up, but I'll put the little parlay in that Keith just mentioned on that. If any of you are following along, go get that in on FanDuel. I just did Kudalaba and Rakic, plus 117 for that. Sound good? Good, Keith?
That sounds good to me.
All right, I got that one in. I don't really see any other questions. We've got lock in just a couple of minutes. TJ, you got any final thoughts for anyone?
Final thoughts, check out the expert survey. I'm on it for today for the late slate, as well as I'm going to be on quite a few shows coming up this week. I got a new segment on RG. You'll get articles, I believe, every Tuesday and Friday. The Agents of Fantasy, where I added some superhero puns to my favorite MLB DFS plays. And yeah, that's kind of brought in. I weave some stuff in from my website, agentsoffandom.com, and it's a pretty fun article. So make sure you check that out on Tuesday.
Sounds fun. Not this show, but today is going to be my last day doing shows for at least a couple of weeks. I got a baby due any minute, second, day, hour, week, something. It's coming sometime soon. So I'm going to be off the rest of May, maybe a week or two in June. So if you miss me, I'll be back eventually, but I will be taking time off after today for a little bit because
congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Congrats.
We'll see how that goes. I've never had a kid before, so apparently I'm not going to get any sleep for like the next 6 months. So I'm really not looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to everything else that comes around with it. Make sure to tune back in in about 2.5 hours. Me, Cards, and Will be on for the late slate. Have your sportsbook apps ready. Have your prop sites ready, because me and Will will certainly get into that and be ready. It's a big slate tonight. So come back for that in just a little bit. For Keith and TJ, I'm Britt. TJ, you want to say anything?
No, I was just going to say I'm free all evening. So if I start having the baby, you can fire me a message.
I didn't get the bat signal during the show, if anything was happening, but you never know, right? Sometimes things like that start happening. I'll let you know. And thanks for being able to fill in if it does come to that. And I've got to get on the road, I guess, down to the hospital down here. But anyway, thanks to everyone for watching. Click the like button on your way out. We would appreciate it. For TJ and Keith, I'm Britt. Thanks for watching, and we out, Jeff.